With a mateship built over long days on job sites, these two larrikin tradies have swapped their tools for the fashion industry, trade mutt style.
The work shirt idea just sort of popped up one day, and we were thinking, like, why hasn't anyone done something different with workwear? And then one thing led to another, and yeah, when Dan lost his mate, that was sort of where Trade Mutt was born.
You know, one of our first taglines, built tough so you don't have to be. The shirts are constructed very bloody well so that you don't have to be the biggest, toughest operator out there.
I'm Ed.
And I'm Dan.
And this is our way.
In 2014 is when I lost one of my best mates who was also called Dan. I lost him to suicide, obviously tragically, unexpectedly, shockingly. And still at the time, Ed and I were working, 7 days a week together. He certainly was there for the moments where I just rock up to work and just break down, in a mess and just, not being able to make sense of anything. Not having experienced suicide before, it then became, sort of bleedingly obvious that there's a real lack of understanding around mental health in this country, particularly among blokes.
We've had so many examples of times when Dan and I have been out and about and talking to people and then asking what the shirt's about, and people that had like quite a gruff, hard exterior, and the way they were talking to us up until the point they asked about the shirt, and then the shoulders sort of slump and it's sort of the guard falls away, and then the conversation happens about someone that they've lost or something that they've struggled with themselves, and it's just cutting away all the bullshit really, which is really cool.
With YNWA on all our shirts, you'll never walk alone, so it's a tribute to Dan, but also a really good message for anyone who wears our shirts, and a good message for the mental health movement that with Trade Mutt, you'll never walk alone.
So we've got a photo shoot coming up on this Saturday for the new Bonfire collection.
When we started Trade Mutt, obviously Trade Mutt is a social impact business, and as per the model, a percentage of our profits would go towards a mental health initiative. But having a look at the space out there, I suppose, there was nothing that really appealed to us as tradies and blokes. There was nothing that we really felt like, oh yeah, that's for us. We thought, if we're going to do this, let's do it properly. Let's try and make something that is more accessible for the blue collar community and more of a preventative approach as well.
With that in mind, the boys got to work developing TAX, a mental health hotline.
TAX, which is the acronym for This Is a Conversation Starter, we employ mental health professionals and psychologists to provide free, unlimited and ongoing support.
So that's like a major driving factor for us. Huge responsibility to continue to do the things that we are doing and not to let anyone down.
It was just Ed and I, and like I said, we knew how to build houses, but we didn't know how to build a shirt. How we got to the point of still having a business at this stage after having invested every last dollar that we had on our first 1,500 work shirts and 2 computers. It's a miracle, because if you ask anyone in the industry, it's hard, it's tough to get something made overseas that's correct and to a good quality. Don't know how we did it, must have just meant to be. This right here is the original MFG print. This was the very first shirt we ever made. As you can see, this one is shrunk in the wash. I'm only kidding, that's a kid's shirt.
With the pink and yellow and blue was our first flagship design.
And that's the camo, and that is the oxymoron for Trade Mutt, making the invisible issue impossible to ignore, because coloured camo, cannot miss it. Now that is definitely a conversation starter right there, isn't it? We got a packet of pencils from Officeworks. We printed out a thick wad of stencils of shirts, and we sat on my back deck. We literally
scribbled.
But we were like going stripes, like yellow and orange stripes.
Yeah, stripes sound cool.
Yeah, then like yellow, like chicken pox looking polka dots.
That'll look good. Or even just like a plain shirt with like
the trim,
a trim colour that's different. It's like genius.
The stories behind our prints are really important as well, and one of our shirts was called the Whoopsie-Daisy. It was covered in psychedelic daisies. But essentially that, the underlying message is, yes, let's start a conversation about mental health, but the Whoopsie-Daisy is particularly about owning your mistakes and wearing your mistakes and your stuff-ups on the outside. Taking ownership is such a big theme in mental health. It continually comes up, and I think it's on a lot of us to take ownership of our own lives and our own situations. That's all we can control.
So one of our really disruptive products we've brought to market since launching Trade Mutt have been our camel toe socks. Dan, what does a camel toe sock do?
You can chuck it on and you can just slip your thong on with ease and you're away.
Making the transition from work boot to thong seamless.
It's not coming off. It's it's not just for tradies. We all trade in something, whether it's your healthcare professional, a teacher, or anything else. We all work like dogs, and we all trade in something. So Trade Mud is not exclusive to tradies. So yeah.
If you want to start some conversations in your workplace, why not jump over to their website and get yourself some Trade Mutt fashion. If you or anyone you know needs help, you can contact Lifeline and Beyond Blue.